I can trace my relationship to New Hampshire as far back as my early childhood. Each summer, from the age of 7 until I left for college, I attended a girls' camp in Hillsborough, New Hampshire. It was at this camp, a decidedly outdoorsy affair, under the benevolent direction of a couple we knew familiarly as Uncle Henry and Aunt Jenny, that I first experienced the splendor of the North Country, its mountains and its rivers, its abundant flora and fauna. Like so many camps of its day in the 1940s, it may have been founded to foster a new, more self-reliant generation of young women. I guess my children would say the old camp fulfilled its mission pretty well. At the time, though, Hillsborough Camp was not for me a site of education, but the scene of my escape from the proper and slightly claustrophobic Boston suburb I lived in during the year. At camp, among the quiet, fragrant pines, I could breathe deeply and freely for the first time. A little later in my life, I married my late husband, Ben Werner, and together we returned to New Hampshire, edging ever further northward. One day in the spring of 1962, we crossed into this valley and saw Crow Mountain Farm for the first time. The old farm, built by Samuel Wheeler in 1803, was then in a state of great dilapidation, but the fields and the woodlands surrounding it looked as glistening and as pristine as they must have on the day this valley first formed in the wake of the glaciers. Mount Moriah, a great gray-blue beacon of hope and strength, rose up before us, while a knoll of evergreen sheltered the back of the farm from the sharpest north winds. Barely 300 people lived in Shelburne at this time, but we were never lonely. This was home, and with every passing year, our connection to the land grew deeper and more rooted. Our children grew up playing in the dark and sunny woods, and though invisible to our finite eyes, their footprints are everywhere under the leafy paths of these forests and in the high mountains beyond. Even today, especially today, though they live far away, the greater part of their hearts are here. In the last years of his life, Ben and I spoke often and urgently about our great desire to preserve this land, and we began to make plans to do so. In the almost 50 years we spent together here, we saw many things and underwent many changes. Nature, too, experienced an infinite number of tiny revolutions. But each spring, when the snows melted, new life always trembled back into being. The green world of our youth was still the green world of our old age. A recent survey of the property revealed a beaver flowage, a passage for animals moving through this northern corridor, and stands of pines and other kinds of trees. I'm happy to know of these things and grateful to see the boundaries of the land I can walk now fully only in my imagination. But most of all, I'm happy to think of the boundlessness of the land's gift to me, and pleased to be giving these still remote and beautiful acres of future as free as possible from the threat of human destruction. I make this donation in the memory of my husband and our lives together, and in trust for my children's future. I make this donation for myself, that I may continue to live in this free space all the days of my life. I make this donation knowing that ultimately land should have no owner at all. Thank you for your help and generosity. It means more than I can say.